Hello everyone, this is Dr. Santosh. Today we will be talking about catabolism of cysteine. In this class, we will try to answer few questions. We will try to answer how this cysteine converts into glucose. How this cysteine converts into glucose through gluconeogenesis. Then second question, this is first question. Second question, we will try to answer how does this cysteine synthesize taurine. This taurine is required for bile conjugation of bile salt. And then we will try to answer the question how this cysteine produce this very important molecule, phosphoadenosyl phosphosulfate. This phosphoadenosyl phosphosulfate is very important molecule that is used to transfer active active sulfate group to carbohydrates, and this sulfation reaction is very important for synthesis of myelin, and this is how you can think how important is this cysteine metabolism. So cysteine required for synthesis of FAPS requires for synthesis of ultimately myelin sheath and many more glycoproteins and glycolipids also. Taurine, the taurine is required for conjugation of bile salt, and bile salt is required for digestion of fat that we take. That is why this taurine synthesis is also very important. Now cysteine will convert into glucose. So these three questions we will try to answer in this session. So this slide is the slide showing amino acid that joins Krebs cycle. Through joining Krebs cycle, amino acid will convert into glucose. So this is how this amino acid 18 out of 20 amino acid form glucose or feed gluconeogenesis. This is how this 18 amino acid feed gluconeogenesis. And as I have already told you, this pathway, this Krebs cycle during prolonged fasting condition. Remember one very important fact that this all catabolism, synthesis of glucose, that is gluconeogenesis, occurs during prolonged fasting condition. And for this synthesis of glucose, amino acid catabolism occurs. In other words, amino acid catabolism feed gluconeogenesis through Krebs cycle, and Krebs cycle during prolonged fasting condition is a broken cycle. That means the pathway does not move from oxaloacetate to alpha ketoglutarate. Rather, the few amino acids they will join as alpha ketoglutarate. It will convert into succinate the same way. Here we are focusing on cysteine. So cysteine will convert into pyruvate. So cysteine is a three carbon containing amino acid, and pyruvate is also 3 carbon containing. Therefore, this cysteine can easily convert into pyruvate. We will see how this cysteine convert into pyruvate. Now, you can see the pyruvate is being converted from cysteine. This is pyruvate. It is being converted from cysteine. So, cysteine convert into pyruvate through catabolism of cysteine. And catabolism of cysteine, for catabolism of cysteine, there are two pathways. In that two pathway, this cysteine dioxygenase pathway is the major pathway. You can see cysteine dioxygenase, I have shown the major pathway only here. So in a short while, I'll also introduce you to minor pathway. But let me talk about this major pathway. So cysteine dioxygenase, what does it do? This is dioxygenase enzymes. They are very peculiar for amino acid catabolism. This dioxygenase type of enzyme, it appears in aromatic amino acid oxidases for catabolism of aromatic amino acid and cysteine. So this is very peculiar to amino acid catabolism, especially aromatic amino acid catabolism. Dioxygenases are required for catabolism of phenylalanine, tyrosine, tryptophan and cysteine. Now cysteine dioxygenase, what does it do? It oxidizes sulfhydryl group of cysteine. So from the beginning I am telling you that understand the structure of molecules. If you understand the structure of molecule, you will have a command over molecule and you will have command over pathway. Otherwise there is no other way out. So you can see here this cysteine is made up of 3 carbon, and this 3 carbon compound is converting into 3 carbon compound, that is pyruvate. It's easy to understand there. How does it convert is, first this sulfhydryl group is oxidized through dioxygenases here, cysteine dioxygenases. So cysteine dioxygenases, what will happen is, it will oxidize, it will convert into sulfinyl pyruvate. You can see sulfinyl pyruvate. And this sulfin, first it will convert into cysteine sulfinate here. This cysteine sulfinate. Now cysteine sulfinate, through transamination reaction, it will convert into pyruvate. The amine group is removed from this cysteine sulfinate, and this converts into sulfinyl pyruvate. And sulfinyl pyruvate, through desulfation, removal of sulfate group, will form pyruvate. And now this sulfate group is very important contributor for synthesis of phosphoadenosyl phosphosulfate. This molecule is made from reaction of ATP and sulfate. You can see this, if you see this molecule here up to this. So phosphosulfate, this is phosphosulfate equivalent to diphosphate. So this is phosphosulfate and phosphate. That is why it is called phosphoadenosine phosphosulfate. Now the same molecule, cysteine sulfinate, can also form taurine through decarboxylation reaction. This is through deamination, through transamination, sorry, it will produce pyruvate. And remember, all transamination requires vitamin B6. This is very, very important fact. All transamination, wherever you see transamination, it will require, first it will require vitamin C, vitamin B6 as PLP, and second it will require alpha ketoglutarate. So this is very important fact. Now cysteine sulfinate will convert into hypotaurine through decarboxylation reaction, and this pathway is very important for synthesis of taurine. Body chooses the pathway based on need and tissue distribution. In liver, it will convert into this cysteine catabolism, will produce taurine here. The same pathway, first dioxygenase reaction will happen. After that, if there is transamination, it will convert into pyruvate. If there is decarboxylation, so this carboxy group is removed and it becomes ethanolamine, sulfoethanolamine, sulfinyl ethanolamine. You can call it sulfinyl ethanolamine, and this is called hypotaurine. Sulfinyl ethanolamine is called hypotaurine, and this hypotaurine, when once oxidized more, it will convert into taurine. So it is very easy. Decarboxylation will produce taurine and transamination will produce pyruvate. It is very simple process. Just remember a two-step process. First dioxygenase, second is transamination, and then desulfation will produce pyruvate. And here two-step process, dioxygenase and decarboxylation. After decarboxylation, one more oxidation will produce taurine, and taurine is utilized for conjugation of bile salt. Bile salt. So bile acid, if conjugated, it will form bile salt. Now this sulfate produced here will form phosphoadenosyl phosphosulfate, which is an active phosphate donor. Active phosphate donor. Now let's talk about the minor pathway. So this is minor pathway. Through minor pathway also pyruvate can be produced, but this pathway is minor pathway. You can see the first step itself is a transamination reaction. So first step transamination, here second step you can see transamination will produce pyruvate. In order to produce pyruvate, there will always be transamination. So transamination, first step transamination will produce this mercaptopyruvate. Here first step is oxidation, that is why this oxidized sulfinyl pyruvate, here mercapto, because this is also called mercapto or sulfhydryl group or mercapto group. This group is called mercapto, and that is why mercaptopyruvate is formed through removal of amine. You can see the changes in structure. This pyruvate, mercaptopyruvate, is one amino group less than cysteine. So mercaptopyruvate, and through release of this sulfhydryl group at H2S, Now pyruvate is formed through reduction of this molecule. Now pyruvate will join Krebs cycle, and pyruvate this both two pyruvate converts into oxaloacetate, and this oxaloacetate ultimately will convert into glucose. So this is how I have answered three questions. First question is how this sulfate, this PAPS is formed. So PAPS is formed through the main pathway only. It is a sulfate is a byproduct for synthesis of pyruvate, and then sulfate will be converted into PAPS. Now second important pathway of this major pathway is taurine. This pathway is important for synthesis of taurine, which is required for bile acid synthesis. So actually whole pathway happens, this whole pathway it happens in liver only. It is based on need only. If taurine is required more, so taurine is deficient in the cell, taurine will be synthesized in especially during prolonged fasting condition, because our body require glucose. So this cysteine will convert into pyruvate, and pyruvate will ultimately be converted into glucose. This is minor pathway. This happens during prolonged fasting condition only. This pathway occurs during prolonged fasting condition only. Pyruvate synthesis occurs during prolonged fasting condition. So this is all for today's lecture. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe the channel, like the video, and press the bell button so that you will get notification. If you have any question or query, please put the query in the comment box below. Thank you. Thank you for watching.